Next on Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly, Houston head coach Pote Cam Moody, the director of the Can-Am Rugby Tournament, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News, and, oh no, we don't have a recap because the league's over. So let's get it all started with Rugby Morning's Coffee Break and John Fitzpatrick. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
And without the recap, let's get it all started with our recurring segment, Rugby Morning's Coffee Break with John Fitzpatrick, calling in from the great state of California. John, welcome back to MLR Weekly. How are you?
Matt, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful, John. Thanks for asking. Just wonderful. I had a wonderful respite in the Adirondacks on Lake Champlain. It was very nice. Very nice. We didn't get eaten by a grizzly. Okay, so there's that. What do you got for us, John?
Well, you know who else had a wonderful weekend? That would be the USA Men's Eagles squad after a 36-17 win over Belgium. Matt, as to be expected, right? Maybe a little slow going there in the first half, and they put it on in the second half. I believe 4, 5, 6 tries, something like that. But, Matt, the strength of this Men's Eagles squad is certainly MLR players. Matt, what did you think of the Men's Eagles effort?
Well, you're forgetting the one guy, the key component there, the quarterback, a guy named A.J. McGinty, right? He ain't MLR. He is Premiership, and he is world class, right? So, and that's your QB. I mean, that's a big thing. What's behind him is a big question. That's being a naysayer. On the positive side, I am so happy we're talking about an Eagle win, especially with a good second half performance, and for a team that's been together a week. Right, and it hasn't been a week even for the SaberCats or Free Jacks players that are in camp, right? Yeah. So kudos, well done. And it's just what we needed coming off a great MLR final weekend, championship weekend, follow it with an Eagle win, and things are looking pretty darn good right now on the USA Rugby landscape.
A couple of things. One, shout out, kudos to Nate Osberger for his 50th cap there. But got to be a little bit worried about the status of Sam Gall. Of course, he came off a little bit early, nursing an injury. Hopefully, nothing significant. But yeah, I mean, five test debuts. So some new blood out there ahead of a very important end of the summer when the Pacific Nations Cup kicks off. But Matt, they're certainly going to have to be improved when they take on Spain this weekend. They're going to be a little bit more of a test, I think, a little bit more of a dynamic backline. So excited to see what that's going to look like.
Well, they'll have some more time together too, right? They got that game under the belt. They've got now they're all starting to assimilate. Maybe playing a little ping pong. Maybe a little pickleball here and there for the non-injured. So all that team building stuff. Watch Porky the Pig or Matt McCarthy try to speak. That's all, folks. So yeah, it's all positive. They got to beat Spain though. Got to beat them.
They got to beat Spain. And hey, let's also shout out our northern neighbors, Canada. They take on Belgium this weekend. 19 players from MLR, including 8 from the Newfoundland Free Jacks. Matt, what do you think of that?
Newfoundland Free Jacks?
I did.
The Newfoundland Free Jacks. I like that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They got to beat them like the USA beat them. Because you have, as you said, 8 or 9 players from the MLR champion Free Jacks, and they're all good players. Right? Indeed. So, all right. So what happens if we lose to Spain?
I don't think we should be too concerned. Certainly, you'd like to see that. I mean, because look, the last time we played Spain, we put a whooping on them. But last summer, probably losing. It depends on how the match goes.
Man, you have changed so much since you moved to California. You are just like, it's okay, man. The sun's
Well,
out.
because look, we all know the big tests are later this summer with the Pacific Nations Cup and making sure they qualify for the World Cup 2027.
It's right
now
against Spain.
Okay, here, let me be unequivocal. They should beat the crap out of Spain. Let's go. Like, come on.
Yeah.
There. I said it.
Thank you. Boy.
You're welcome.
DC
You're
Johnny answers that a lot faster than LA Johnny does. Woof.
Speaking of Johnny, I feel bad for our video editor, Johnny. Wales dropped to now 14th in the world. They're just one spot ahead, the USA Men's Eagles. Poor guy. And then he's got to edit this show. Feel bad for him.
Yeah, well, this is enough of a purgatory for anybody. But, considering that, it's tough stuff. Anything else, John?
No, Matt, that's it. I'm just good to see you've got your summer haircut.
Oh, that's a new one, a bald joke. Okay, yeah. Where'd you get that hat at a soup kitchen? On that note, thanks to John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning. We'll be right back with Pote, the head coach of the Houston SaberCats, after this.
Digs like a demented mole there.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we are back with the head coach of the Houston SaberCats, Pote Human. And Pote, did I say that correctly?
That was perfect, Matt.
Because, it's pronounced 75 different ways, and I think we overcomplicated it.
Just make it plain and simple.
Just a tad. All right, so, sir, full disclosure, I didn't want to come up to you on the pitch in Pawtucket at Centerville Bank Stadium after the match because I just wanted to let you breathe a little bit, take it in. Tough loss in the championship. You had the ball at death. So you were in the match the entire time for basically what was a New England home game. Walk us through what was the aftermath for you.
I just think they were better. They pounced on our mistakes. We just make too many silly mistakes like knock-ons. I mean, once that we knocked the ball on, they kick it through and they scored a try. We had opportunities. Should have maybe go for points, take the penalty and take the 3 points. Then we had the scrum. Didn't get the penalty for that scrum. We had the maul at the end where the guy came down with one hand, lost the ball when we tried to maul. So it was just silly errors and a bit of discipline issues, but we were in the game till the end. I still believe at the end we also had a knock-on when we tried to play and try to get another try. But it was an awesome game. I think really the league did a great job of putting this thing together because it was an awesome atmosphere. There was lots of spectators, lots of supporters, and it was a great occasion to be part of.
This game, as you say, it was great for the league because it was exciting. You had the opportunity to either to win the game when you had the ball in your hands at death, and I'm like, I was the PA announcer, and I'm like, I was trying not to gasp.
No, it was good.
So you did mention go for points, and I'm upstairs, and it's always, it's so easy from
in hindsight,
mic, right? Yeah. Hiding behind a mic, saying what you would do. But I was in the PA system, not in the broadcast, so I'm telling the guys in the booth, in the PA booth, you got to go for points here. It was when New England got that yellow. Right?
Oh, yes.
New England gets the yellow. I'm like, take the 3. Then it's a 3-point game. You get the ball back with a man advantage. And I guess, it's different when you're down on the pitch, right?
No, for sure. I mean, we had them there under pressure. They had the man down. So we thought maybe keep the ball in hand and see if we can score a try. But looking back, maybe took the points will be put more pressure on them to try and keep us out. But that's rugby. That's some you lose, some you don't. So, but it was good for us to reach the finals, to play there. For this club, it was a huge occasion because it was the 4th time we reached the playoffs. First time we went further than the first round. So it was an awesome performance by the guys.
And I'm going to say this, and I don't know if you'll comment, but you did it with that Heineken Meyer. You were on your own this one. This was all your team, and you guys marched to the final. And I thought it was more impressive. Well, I'll get to why it was more impressive, but this was basically your team, and you marched them to the final.
Yeah, it was good. I think he laid the groundwork for 3 years, and I just carry on. I mean, luckily for us, we had about the same squad in the last 2 years, so the guys knew each other. There was continuity. Unfortunately, we had some bad injuries like Davy Kutcher and Drew Wild and Sam Tuafua, three of our key players. But a guy like AJ Alatimu and Max, we called him Verstappen, Max
Schumacher, man, he came out of nowhere.
He was really good on the day. So no, I'm happy with the guys. I think we used the whole squad this year, and that was also awesome. Everybody got game time. We didn't have a big squad. I think we were 36 at the end. But it was awesome working with these guys, especially the American guys. It's just for us, it's just how they grew. I mean, a guy like Emmanuel Albert came through, Pono Davis in the Eagles squad again. It's just nice to see these guys coming through and play for the Eagles.
And also, you had a guy named Ronan Murphy, who is an emerging star. He was out with a knee injury. He's coming back.
Yes, he will come back next year. Yes, yeah. That was also a bad injury. Yes.
In a very deep back row for Houston, which is so critical in this league.
No, definitely. I must say, Marnu Redlinghuis, we put him on 8 for the playoffs, and he really did an awesome job. Played for the Eagles on Saturday and at lock and again show what he can do. He's just an enforcer.
Well, they gave him the day off. They put him at lock.
Yeah, that's a good one,
right?
Yeah,
he's got to be he's got to be. Oh man, you give him the taste. You give a lock the taste of number 8. And they never want to go back. It's like
I know. That's out of experience. I had the same experience. Play lock and then move to 8. I said never again.
Except until the coach tells you that you're playing there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And what was more impressive about your run through to the final for me was a couple of things. You mentioned you were without Coates and Drew and Wild, 2 of your big playmakers, but also you had Mother Nature intervening to delay your game a day. So you're sitting around when you're supposed to play LA, right? And then you got to play them on a short week. So there's no way in hell that you're going to go into Utah on short rest and win, because all of us pundits said you had no chance against the high-flying hometown Utah Warriors. And what do? You go in and you spank them, and you beat them even worse in the second half in the altitude.
Yes, no, I must say that was tough. We were waiting for the game on Sunday, and we were waiting, and then they said, no, tomorrow, come back on the Monday, half an hour postponed because of the lightning. Then we played that game, and I just told the guys, hey, we're through now, it's Utah. Only focus on Utah. We're going to have a very, very light week. Just recover your bodies and get you mentally ready. And we went to Utah, and what a performance. That was, I think, one of our best performances of the year. We really played very, very well.
It was crazy. They're injured. They don't have their playmakers. They're going in with their second choice fly half. They're on the road. Teams die in the second half in the altitude. All of us completely wrong. And I was very pleasantly surprised. I'm like, this is a good team. I mean, this is a deep team.
I was very fortunate and blessed with this squad. It's just the character. We are family, close family, and we just fight for each other. And you could see it, especially on that day in Utah.
So let's talk about next year. You're coming back, I'm assuming?
Yes, I'm coming back. My whole coaching staff will be back. We will see the players. It's too early now because there's some changes in the league going on with contracts and stuff. We'll sort that out, and then we will start recruiting again for next season. But I'm excited. I think we had a taste of the finals now, so hopefully we can reach it again next year and do one better.
Just tell Marno you'll play him at 8 if you get back to the finals.
Yeah, for sure. He will be 8. He will be 8.
He will get everybody back to the finals if you tell him that. Tell him if we're not in the playoffs, you're playing lock.
No, yes. No, but he's just a good human being, so it's a great guy to have.
And I had Johan Momsen on a couple of weeks ago on the show, and then I spoke to him and Marno after the match, and those giants who annihilate people on the field couldn't be nicer off the field.
No, it's unbelievable, guys. I mean, that's when we recruited. We look for guys that real people, like No hang-ups, no sideshows. Just want to play the game. Keep the main thing, and that's to play rugby.
Yeah, when it's between the lines, they'll absolutely annihilate you or destroy you. But off the field, it's great. And that brings me back to an incident in New York when I was calling the game, and I thought it was one of the greatest moments that we should show over and over again, like every other professional sport would show here in America. You know, you and was it Ollie that you were going at it with?
Yes,
Strength coach of New York. And I thought that was the greatest thing. I'm like, Ollie, you're poking a bear right now. Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, but it was funny. So my wife phoned me just after the incident, and she said, "Are you okay?" And she was laughing, and I was also laughing. I said, "Hey man, it's done. We have a beer afterwards." And then the next morning, I phoned her again, and she was crying. And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "It's all over the news. It's all over social media." Suddenly, I said no, and she was. So it was just funny how that incident go worldwide like an instant. You know, it was just crazy.
Look, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox are one of the most heated rivalries that we have here in the United States. And every time they get together, they show this brawl, the bench clearing brawl from like 10 years ago, where Pedro Martinez throws the bench coach Don Zimmer down to the ground. They show it over and over again. You know, Don Zimmer was in his like 70s or something, and he comes running at Pedro Martinez, and Pedro Martinez throws him to the ground. And they show that over and over and over. It's called marketing, everybody.
Yes.
It's called marketing.
It was good for the league.
You single-handedly had the best moment in our league history. Got to show it. All right. So how much of an impact do you have on the player selection? Because everybody wears a lot of hats in this league. So if you have one title, it doesn't matter because you're carrying pads, you're loading luggage, you're doing it all, right? So how much of an impact do you have on choosing players?
No, I've got the main say. I will always ask my assistants what they think and how they feel and what's their thoughts. But at the end, it comes down to me because I take responsibility on the field for the result. So if we don't make it, it's my fault. And if I don't make a mistake, I will take it on the chin.
Sounds good. So I'm looking for another SaberCats in the finals next year. Maybe you get over that hump. You guys got that taste. So what's the secret? What's the secret to winning next year?
Try to bring most of these guys back, and just I will think if I must say something we can improve is our discipline. We have to be a bit more disciplined and give away less penalties. Well,
you have a ferocious defense to build on. You held up the Free Jacks twice in the try zone. That was incredible. So you got the foundation, you have the building blocks, and maybe health. I would say health for you.
Sure, no, health for sure. No, keep the guys stay healthy. A guy like David Kutsa and Drew Wild, that will be awesome.
And I know you have a very busy day, so you're traveling to South Africa. You moved into a new apartment all in the same day, but it's great that you took this time out, and that's the beauty of this league.
No, thanks, my friend. It was a pleasure.
All right, well, Coach Pote Himan, thank you for coming on, sir.
It was great, Matt. Thank you.
I wouldn't like to be at the bottom of that.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now. And we are back with Mr. Cam Moody of the Can-Am Rugby Tournament. Lake Saranac, Lake Placid, one of my favorite destinations forever. But Cam, you're someplace else right now. Where are you? What are you doing?
Hey, Matt. So I'm deployed overseas, the Horn of Africa right now. We're over here kind of focused on base improvements and security operations. So traveling
that's
around.
What the hell you're
bit.
in charge of with the Can-Ams?
It is a lot of the same details. This one's not as much fun, though.
All right. So what branch are you in?
So Army National Guard, New York Army National Guard. Been in about 7 years now. It's my second deployment. So it's taken me away a lot, but this will be the first time for any reason in 17 years that I've missed the Can-Am.
First of all, thank you for your service to make life easy for jerks like me to be able to do what I do, and I appreciate it. Give us the skinny on this year's tournament.
It's going to be great, Matt. We've got a bunch of great teams registered again, coming back. We've got our first ever women's premier and women's over 35s division. So the women's side of the tournament really took off this year and actually filled up all the divisions before the men's side, which is something new and exciting for us. We've got men's social club and premier, of course, back in action. So we're really looking forward to all the divisions coming. Over 35s, men and women, over 45s, over 50s, over 60s. So we got a good action-packed lineup all weekend long. And we've got wheelchair rugby back in Saranac Lake at the local civic center this year. So that should be something fun to watch.
Oh, that is awesome. And, you've been known to don the cleats during the tournament, even though you're the tournament director. Are you playing any rugby down there?
So I have been lucky enough to know nothing competitive, but have worked with some allied forces down here to get on the pitch a little bit, throw the ball around. I say pitch, really just sand, nothing but sand, but it's been fun.
It's going to be another fabulous tournament. How many teams total?
So registration's still open. We're hoping to get a couple more, but we are right around 110 right now, which is a little bit down from last year with the 50th anniversary, but hopefully we get back up there. So we offer something for everybody, and if you're not playing, it's what a better place to watch rugby and hang out. Like you said,
and golf.
Sit by the lake.
Golf. I forgot about the golf.
You can hike, you can rent a boat, you can do it all. And if you haven't made it to this event, you're missing out. It really is the greatest tournament in the country and one of the greatest areas to visit. We're bringing back the Can-Am Carnival again this year too. So family-friendly event for all. Sweet. With our beer sponsor, New Belgium and Fat Tire will be back again. We're going to have live entertainment all weekend long. I mean, it's much more than just a rugby tournament for sure. It's a community event. And we're proud to be bringing the 51st annual Can-Am Rugby Tournament.
And we're going to be live streaming the championship matches on Sunday, correct?
Of course, yeah. We'll live stream all the championship games on Sunday, starting at, I think the first game is going to kick off at 10 in the morning, the first championship match. We'll have those live streamed. The link to that will be on all our socials. And if you're in Saranac Lake, you can hang out at Riverside Park, watch the games live, and drink a beer. So
that's very cool.
I really can't complain about that,
But we are going to sorely miss you, sir. And again, because you're doing the right thing and taking care of us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Definitely going to miss being there. It's going to be tough to be away, but I know we got a good crew back there, including yourself, that's going to make it all go perfect. So.
Well, I'm going to be all over your crew. I'm going to be like white on rice, man. I'm going to make sure that everything goes smoothly, and I'm going to taste all the beer to make sure it's okay. And thanks to Cam Moody for representing and protecting us wherever he may be in a tent someplace in the desert.
Thanks, Matt. Enjoy, guys.
And we are back with Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News /Ray's Rugby. Bryan, welcome. How are you and where are you?
I'm doing great. Season's over, so, I'm just hanging out on my vacation at a random American landmark and, doing my thing.
That's the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, Bryan. That's not just some American landmark. All
right, cool. Nice spot.
Okay. All right. Well, Bryan, the season has ended in MLR 2025, but it's just begun for MLR 2026. And we've talked about a whole bunch of different things during the course of the season, and we've talked about games and all that stuff. But we also now have the opportunity to talk about next season and possibilities for next season and teams building for next season. And what better way to segue to our top front offices of 2025, excluding the three-time champion New England Free Jacks. So in your estimation, going into 2026, who's in the best shape? Give me the top three teams other than the Free Jacks.
Well, look, I mean, all you have to do is look at the results of the season, and the teams who are lower in the table probably need some work. You look at a team like Seattle; they got an older roster. They're going to have to, probably make some changes there. Houston, are they going to be able to retain all of those players that they had this year, or some of them are going to move back to South Africa or wherever? It's hard to say, but I mean, it's almost hard to even speculate as to how things are going to go when we're back into this. What teams are going to be there next year. I mean, at the moment, we're assuming that the same 11 teams are, but we don't really know that for certain yet. So, I kind of shy away from all this. What do teams need and all that in the coming weeks?
What kind of sports pundit are you? We don't shy away from things. We make them up.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at who's the best domestic talent is really who you're going to look for as far as who might do well next year. I mean, the Free Jacks they scout Canada, so they automatically get bonus points for me. I think a lot of teams don't even look up north for players, which is crazy. But I mean, at the same time, we don't even know at the moment what the limitations as far as overseas recruitment is going to be for next year. There's certainly rumors going around that there could be changes. There could be a reduction in the number of imports available either in the match day 23 or in the squad itself. So
it could be in the squad itself as low as 10.
Right. So, this all, makes a lot of difference really when it comes to recruitment. And, from a fan's perspective, when you're trying to look at who a team's going to keep or get rid of, whatever, if a certain team, another team isn't going to be in the league, if it's going to be 10 teams, if it's going to be 12 teams, if there's limitations on imports, that all changes, the whole complexion. So, it's a frustrating thing. You're going into this draft that's coming up, and we don't really know, what teams have.
So you went a long way. You went a long way to making excuses for your picks that you're going to give me now, because you said Seattle's up against it with an older roster. That was basically your only thing. But give me some front offices that you'd be pleased with, or some teams that have done well with player management and signings and all that, other than the Free Jacks, that you'd say, okay, I could hitch my wagon to them.
I think every team has room for. I'll tell you what. I'll give you another one. Old Glory DC actually has quite a nice collection of young domestic players on that team. There were a few of those prospects who didn't actually play this year. Ray Santiago, Seb Shefferman coming in just at the end. They didn't even take a field for them, but they were the draft picks. And, Aiden Ridgway, I'm hoping these guys all come through. So they do actually have a nice core of young domestic guys. I think they might have to, look at their import players and make decisions in there, maybe make a couple adjustments. Certainly tight head prop, Joe Reese had that injury. They kind of struggled at that position this season, I think. So they're going to have to recruit some, but I think they have a nice core of young American players, and that's certainly an important thing. If you're going to succeed on a year-to-year basis, having that continual stream of players coming through, domestic talent is important.
Okay, Brian, on that note, I guess we're going to have to end. Thank you to Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News. Thank you to John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Pote Human of the Houston SaberCats, Cam Moody of the Can-Am Rugby Tournament, and thank you for tuning in. Please check out our other programming. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Tell your friends about us. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.